Hello, everybody. Sorry, I just missed you there, Tiny Harlequin Plays. Who else we got here? Fiverr Sugar Candy Miniatures, what's up? Box Fox Scoot, hello. John Bear, hello. Alex Knudsen. Thanks for coming, everybody. I shall reveal the palette. How's everyone's Saturday night going? Let's orient the palette. Nah, this way's fine. Oh, this way makes... Yeah, we'll put it here. Yeah, this is my just like comfortable wear around the house all the time flannel. It's got like actual padding or like actual it's like a jacket almost. It's very comfortable. Painting up a bee girl. Oh, hello Calder Studios. So yeah, like last stream we're working on the blacks. Alright, well last stream we started off finishing off the metallics, then moved on to the blacks. So this stream I at least want to finish up. We got these two arm pieces and then the hand scythe. All the other separated pieces the black is finished on already, so after these arms and the hand there, then I just have to finish the black on the body, and then all the black and all the metallic is done. Iridescent lemon yellow. That sounds like it would work on a bee girl. What is the bee girl exactly? Oh yeah, and I have some new brushes I opened up. These are synthetic, so they weren't, it was like just over 20 bucks for these three. They're like watercolor brushes I got from just a local art store. We got a size 1, 5, and 3. I've been using the 5. I used the 5 quite vigorously already, and it's like the tip is already a little like meh, but I think it'll still hold it fine when it comes to the actual painting. These look like sable, but they're like, they're called golden sable or something, so they're just a synthetic, a different kind of synthetic. ATK girl kit. Does sound kind of familiar. Oh yeah, I meant to change the widget for the chat, or for the super chat things. Let me just quickly look at that because I can get a look at my gamer mouse. Because when, yeah, we want to change the high super chat. I want to change it from all time top to just for this session, because I think that's a bit more fair. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through the options in the menu here. It's super exciting. There's a lot of different ones. Okay. Not members. Top super chats combined. No, we don't want that. Top super chats. Okay, we want that to be session top super chats. Oh, okay, that adds more than one though. That ruins the formatting. We don't want that. Oh, okay, it's already, I see what's going on here. So we'll change it to session top super chats. We got to change the item limit to 1. Maybe that will fix it. Yeah, okay, that looks like it's fixed it. Did it mess up my other formatting though? No, it looks like we're good. Okay, enough of that disruption there. Box Fox, no, I'm just streaming on YouTube. Just the one platform. Okay, so like what we did last time, we're gonna start off with a pure black and just reinforce the areas that need to be pure black. and then just work our way up the edge highlight. I don't know how much this area needs it. I was like, oh, let's move the camera over a little bit actually. Sorry, that was a little shaky there. But like I was trying to decide whether the like ridge area of this should like just how I'm gonna do the edge highlight on there. I think it makes sense to just leave the middle completely black and then maybe the area around it is all the solid like darkest gray. It's a bit of a dilemma, but there's enough work to do on these two arm pieces. Let's just focus on those for now. And we've also officially run out of the Army Painter black, so just using this staple black. Hello, Bo Paints Minis. Thanks for coming. Yeah, that's definitely a thing some people do, Box Fox. I think with the software I'm using right now, you have to use a paid version to multi-stream, but I never really was planning on doing any multi-stream stuff anyways. And yeah, let's see how fine a tip I can get on this once it gets a little wet. I don't think we need to thin this paint much. Yeah, that should be good for our purposes. And yeah, there is definitely some areas like here you can see had to do a bit of sanding to like clean up some textures before, so those are like areas where bare plastic is showing, so obviously we need to get just a solid base coat back on there before we do any highlighting. Gonna make the camera just a little brighter. Uh-oh, the cat's disrupting the painting. A blessing and a curse, I suppose. So what's everyone up to on this fine Saturday evening? Or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are at this moment. Oh, Frostgrave Demons. Not familiar with that set. What are the Frostgrave Demons like? Are they like... Do they look like any particular Warhammer demons? Yeah, I was also planning on asking anyone watching tonight, I was curious as to like how many people that watch do tabletop gaming themselves, whether that's like, you know, Warhammer or D&D or any board games. Just wondering what everyone's favorites are. I think 2 videos ago, I had that joke in the script about War Machine and Hordes being my favorite. And despite that being written into a joke for a video, I think it's safe to say it is my favorite tabletop war game, at least. I think my favorite tabletop game, if you go just by hours played, would be Dungeons and Dragons. My favorite board game, if I'm going for a complex one, probably say Scythe by Stonemaier Games. I'm going for like simple, easy to teach one, maybe like Azul or Sorrow of the Seas. Oh, look like abnormal humans. Gotcha. Good old Greeblin. Yeah, Stargrave is like Frostgrave, right? Where it's kind of like a Mordheim-esque game where you have a small skirmish team of people that you collect equipment and level up with. Yeah, I have had some. I played Kill Team back in 2019, so I guess that was like a different edition of the game. When I eventually get back to that with my friends, we might just give the one-page rules version of Kill Team a shot. And I also have, you know, a painted Blood Bowl team, but haven't really played Blood Bowl other than the PC game. So I suppose I should try and give that more of a shot. And I don't have anything planned for Orktober. My main thing for Orktober is, you know, just working on this purple boy. I don't think I have any Orc minis really right now. I'm always happy to just observe everyone else's Orktober projects. And you probably heard me say before that I'm bad at like staying on track to get like seasonal things done like that anyways. So if anyone watching has Orktober projects, by all means, tell me all about them. Well, hey, Fiverr, just because I don't have any orcs doesn't mean I don't have another absolutely massive pile of shame. I think the first like Warhammer Orcs and Goblins model I ever painted was the one for your Pride Month clown army. And that was just a moon, that wasn't even an orc or a goblin. Does the Mantic Orc set come with plenty of options in terms of like extra bits to play around with? A deadline for the build. What's your build, Calder? Yeah, that's right, Fiverr. Just some moon that's associated with goblins. I feel like I probably painted an orc at some point in my life that I just don't remember. Oh, I definitely painted Lord of the Rings Uruk-hai minis. Those count as orcs, right? You're 3D printing an old orc with a long beard flying through the sky in a rocket-powered wheelchair with flying squigs pulling it. That sounds really fun, you're right. Thanks for sharing. Just gotta awkwardly perch that there. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Mantic models, though. I found that I've been, ever since I bought the like Lizardman box from War Games Atlantic, I was like impressed with the amount of extra bits that comes with it. So I guess when you brought up Mantic, I just thought of like third-party fantasy, or like non-GW fantasy models. And I just love the War Games Atlantic box. What I like about the Lizardman box is it has like options to give your Lizardmen like muskets or AK-47s if you want. And you know, that's just super fun. Ah, right, the bee girl, my bad, I forgot. Oh, and you'll all have to forgive me. I don't have a can crack for this stream, so it's not going to be a burp-filled stream. Much like my videos, I can't have every stream just be like a burp fest. But more so, I was just like feeling very, very full from the amount of food I ate, so I didn't want to just add a bunch of fizzy pop into the mix, you know? That's right, you always gotta have some lizard people around. Remember in like D&D, or my first D&D edition was 3.5. I remember thinking that like I had minis for lizard folk for like the miniatures game, the like pre-painted miniatures game that was out at the time. And then also they had troglodytes in the main monster manual in that book, and I remember thinking the troglodytes and lizard folk looked too similar. Then, you know, in later editions they put more emphasis on the lizard folk, so that was good for me. My first miniatures game that I got into was the Lord of the Rings, but my first Warhammer Fantasy, or like the army that got me to like start getting into Warhammer Fantasy and moving away from Lord of the Rings, was the Lizardmen. The second army was the Empire. I think deep down in my heart I'll always pick Lizardmen over the Empire, as cool as I think the Empire are. You sent an Amazon link. Well, if you sent it in the chat, YouTube might have blocked it. But thanks anyways. Oh, sorry, camera wasn't in focus there. Classic Fiverr. Is this for your Stargrave crew? Is it one you would use models you already own with, or are you like planning out some more purchases for the old backlog there? I think it was Bo that brought up Stargrave when I asked about what games people were vibing with. But I fully get the whole building theoretical teams and projects. Anomalocaris, you're the spitting image of myself. Are we clones? I don't know. I don't know what you look like, but apparently you look like me. But if your friend wants to start up a Gamma Wolves campaign, I would say that's probably gonna be fun, and you should do it. An Iron-Blooded Orphans enjoyer, I see. You have good taste then, just like me. Haha. Oh, and Fiverr, you have some Kitbash forever ago. What are the Kitbashes of? Okay, just gotta finish reinforcing the black on the other arm, and then we'll move up to the next gray. Yeah, Gamma Wolves is fun. Can confirm. Oh, okay, so they're like Stargrave models. I see, I see. I would say, I mean, terrain technically isn't necessary for Gamma Wolves, but there are enough like rules in the game that are about interacting with terrain that not playing without terrain like eliminates some amount of depth from the game, because there is like strategy to be had and like your positioning on the battlefield, because if you're if an enemy's shooting at you and you're wide open, they get a bonus to hit, so there's incentive to find cover. And I don't know if I can recommend terrain's like really easy to build for the cheap if you're like, you know, want to do some crafting. Yeah, terrain is always been tricky for me, because like I prefer to use the time that I have to get the painting done, because it's hard enough to get everything painted and onto the tables, and then when it comes to putting in the effort to get some terrain painted on there. It's like a little overwhelming to also think about painting that sometimes too, but you know, it's like with terrain you can get away with putting in way less effort in painting it because it's just the terrain. And but there are, like, you know, ready-made options that you can just buy and put on the table. You know, sometimes there's random toy sets you can use as terrain, or like recycled material. It depends on what scale you're playing at, I guess. Or like, yeah, like the terrain I used for my Gamma Wolves battle report is 28mm scale terrain, which like doesn't quite match up with the models I'm using, but the way I'm imagining it in my head, the pilots, like the scale of the mobile suits isn't the same as what they would be in the Gundam show, so for me it's like close enough. Or there, if you're more of like a Gunpla person, there might be some like Gunpla display base accessories that could work as terrain. Like I know I've seen some on like Mecha Guy Kotsu's channel, who's a Gunpla reviewer. He's got those kind of like ruined building diorama displays that'll be in the backgrounds of his video shoots sometimes. You can use that as wargaming terrain. Yeah, natural landscapes and buildings are a lot different from each other. Oh, hello, Mr. J. Thanks for coming by. How much space do I need to play Gamma Wolves with Gunpla? I mean, I use about the same space that I did for all my gaming, which is, you know, a good old 4-foot by 4-foot table. I think the Gamma Wolves book has some sort of recommendation along the lines of you want like at least 1 or 2 pieces of terrain that completely block line of sight. Because there are some rules in Gamma Wolves that are about like, or like when you're deploying, which didn't happen in my battle report because the rules were, you know, a little simplified in my case. If we had had terrain on the table that completely blocked line of sight, then when we were deploying our mechs at the beginning, like some of them would have deployed just as round base markers, because it's just like, you know, your sensors are detecting an enemy mobile suit, but just the presence of one, you don't know which one it is yet because you can't like physically see it on the battlefield because it's behind a building. So you'd use like the round contact marker for that. And then like there's some technical loadouts you can add to the suits to give them enhanced like radar detection abilities, I believe, which interact with those kinds of rules. So if the terrain on your table didn't have anything that completely blocks line of sight, then like that equipment would be less useful in theory. But, you know, Gamma Wolves is very much like, it's not a game that's designed for tournament play, so if there's something that's not working for you, whether that's with the rules or the terrain, I think you can just kind of do whatever you want to do to make the play experience better for yourself. Alright, the black has been reinforced, and we're gonna start mixing in gray. I think we need to add a bit more black to the palette, though there isn't enough left over. But if you do love making terrain, I'm sure making a 1/144th scale city would be a fun project. You know, Gamma Wolves is like post-apocalyptic too in theory, so you know, you could have some of the buildings that are like toppled over perhaps and like are more of terrain that's like cover you can hide behind because the building is like more of a skeleton, and then you could have some that are more intact that are like buildings you could hide completely behind. Like, I don't think a game of Gamma Wolves, if you're using Gunpla, I don't think you would want a table that has too many like buildings. It would get like a little cramped and crowded. I think we need a bit more black in that gray. Yeah, just let me know if the camera focus is getting a little crazy. I'll adjust the height a bit. Alright, that's looking better. Just need a bit of water. And I think I can keep using the big size 5 brush for... I think I could, but maybe it's probably better I move to the size 3 anyways. Let's just do that. The size 3 is still decently large anyways. This is the real grade Sazabi. It's a Kitbash though, so this whole thing here is added. I can show you the main body in a bit if you remind me. Yes, Robert, the WAP is here. Last stream I finished the metallics, so it should be just nothing but WAP from now on. Unless maybe I'll have to go back and tidy up some metallics later. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like edge highlighting, then edge highlighting a Gundam might not be your thing. And I find like the edges, I mean, I like edge highlighting personally, and the edges on Gunpla models, they're like, you know, a lot bigger than on a Warhammer model, so it is a different experience. A different kind of edge, you could say. And yeah, these first 2 steps I've been doing, I know, aren't particularly exciting because the appearance of it isn't changing much. But as you can see, I'm applying, or this dark gray line I'm applying now is much tidier than the one that was on there before. And after this round of dark gray is done, that's when we start adding the real crispy lines. The ones where it's like actually starting to represent the highlights and not just the outline of the shapes. Yes, the bright red one. Hello, Darren Lang. Thanks for coming by. You butchered a mini from ranges so deep. Did you literally butcher it with like a failed kitbash or? Oh, and hello, Soph the Soup. Thanks for coming. Yeah, the turn A and turn X are pretty cool. Blue Parappa has the high grade turn a Gundam, and it's quite flimsy. And that the master grade turn a Gundam comes with the like miniature cow, doesn't it? Like the cow minifigure. I've never seen a turn X Gundam in the wild before. It's a very cool design though. Yeah, after I do this, like this round of the dark gray I'm doing, I'm going over basically every edge, but the next round I'm gonna have to start thinking of like, okay, what angle is this arm gonna be sitting at the model? What parts get highlighted and what parts don't? The Master Grade Tau. Yes, those are rare kits. Or the Master Grade Cow. Any kit that has a minifigure cow on it is, I'm sure, on many people's holy grail list. I have volume 1 of the Turna Gundam manga, actually. It's one of the manga I have that's like in Japanese, so I was using it as translation practice at one point before I fell off with my Japanese studies. Primer came out like a wash. That's not good. Cow Gundam, yeah. Yes, I've heard nothing but bad things about fine cast minis, let me tell you. Got a tiny mistake in a cleanup here. Yes, Kalinas, we're finishing up the black on the arms right now, and we'll see how long that takes. It's been a bit of a haggard day, so I don't think I'm gonna hit I don't think I'm gonna break my record and do a 4-hour stream tonight or anything. I don't have a particular length for this stream in mind. I mostly just wanna finish the blacks on everything. Everything that's not the body, and then we'll see what time it is, and maybe I'll start tackling the body. Sometimes I think something's gonna take a certain amount of time to paint, and then I finish it up faster than planned. And sometimes it's the opposite. Like I had to fix up part of the base earlier today. I thought it was gonna be a quick fix, but it took like an hour and a half. Glad I wasn't doing that on stream. There are a couple parts on the body I was thinking I'm probably gonna finish off stream just because they're like at really awkward angles to show on camera. But you know, like I said, it depends on how the stream goes. If I think I can reach the end of the black, I'll just, you know, keep doing it on stream. If I'm too tired and it looks like I still got a couple hours of work, I'll probably just finish it off stream, and then the stream after that could be something more colorful and exciting than just more blacks and grays. Although I'm sure the blacks and grays are exciting enough for many of you. Finished your high grade Gyan. Stiff shoulders, I see. So I do like Magic the Gathering. I used to play it a lot before I got into War Machine and Hordes, mostly. I still like kept a lot of my cards. The like good decks that I kept mostly were EDH commander decks. So like I haven't played much Magic over the last few years, but the Magic I have played, it's been commander for the most part. And I was grinding a decent amount of Magic the Gathering Arena from like I think it was like mostly 2017, 2018. I think Magic the Gathering's a really good game. I'm just kind of over the whole like booster pack business model now, I guess. And when I was going the hardest on Magic was in like 2013. Yeah, 2013, 2014. I was like playing in lots of tournaments in my area. So I guess you could say I played competitive Magic the Gathering for like a year, but then I got like pretty fed up with it because there's always gonna be like annoying power gamers around that are like win at all cost type players. And there's definitely stereotypes about those players when it comes to miniature games like, you know, 40K and stuff, and I've encountered those, but by far the most like negative play experiences I've had in tabletop gaming as a whole have all been with like Magic the Gathering players. Maybe it's like something to do with the more casual pickup nature of like card games, because, you know, it takes a lot more effort to set up a miniatures war game than it does like a game of Magic. And, you know, when you're playing a Magic tournament on a Friday night, you go through 4 games relatively quick compared to like a miniature gaming tournament. So there's not a lot of incentive for people not to be dicks if the game is like really short. And yeah, it just led to a lot of like pretty negative play experiences. Definitely some positive play experiences too, and like definitely have a lot of solid memories just playing games with friends at the kitchen table, as they say. Yeah, I ran into some real doozies playing in Magic tournaments, let me tell you. Yes, I am a War Machine Hordes player. I just haven't played much since, you know, the good old Panini hit back in 2020. That, combined with other various factors, made the group in my area kind of moved on to other games. Sorry, the camera is making has a little bit of a weird jittery look on my screen. Hopefully that's not transposing over to the stream too much. I trust you all let me know if it becomes unwatchable. My favorite Warjack, that's a good question. Favorite Warjack. Okay, the camera is jittering it a bit. Wonder if it's something with the cable. I'll just answer the chat questions and hope it goes away. Yeah, favorite Warjack. That's a really good question. In terms of like models that I own and that are painted, like Old Rowdy from Signar is a really good warjack. The Nomad Mercenary warjack has a cool classic look to it. Thunderhead's also pretty cool. Yeah, the new Magic the Gathering like Warhammer cards look pretty neat, I'll admit. It's like cool to see those characters translated into like the Magic colors. Oh, nice work on the Zaku. I don't listen to Goathor, so I haven't listened to that album. Yeah, that was the thing, Kalinas. Like, at a certain point, I had to make a choice. I'm like, am I gonna spend my money on the cards or the miniatures? And I traded in a bunch of my standard staples at the time for store credits so that I could, like, get my War Machine collection flushed out. Gundam with the missile shoulders? Well, there's the Buster Gundam. He has missile shoulders, but there's a few that have missile shoulders. Okay, it looks like the camera has stopped being funky for now. Let's hope it stays that way. On the Hordes side of War Machine and Hordes, my favorite War Beast might just be, in terms of just looks, it'd probably be the Rhinodon from Scorn. I had a lot of fun painting that model. Do you have a favorite warjack? The Krix Slayer warjack is also just an iconic look, even though I don't have a Krix army. There's a lot of good warjacks out there. And the designs of the like Mark IV War Machine warjacks that are like coming out this year are very good as well. I like the Privateer Presses have released some models that are definitely misses, but I've never really thought any of their warjacks are misses. Like, their warjack models always slap in my eyes. I mean, if there's probably some I wasn't a huge fan of that have come out that I'm not remembering. Maybe the Buccaneer's a little janky, but even then I still have one of those that I painted. I think I need to add a little bit more there. Alright. Yeah, Heavy Arms also has shoulders and missiles in the shoulders. Soy Jack soy machines. Don't know what you mean by that. A Warhammer faction preference. Yeah, I mean, I guess I was talking about that earlier, and I would say Lizardmen. Second choice, Empire. I don't play any Games Workshop, or the last Games Workshop game I was playing was Kill Team back in 2019, so that's on a different edition now. I was also saying earlier that if I was gonna get back into that with those friends, we would probably give the one-page rules version a shot. Same thing goes with, I keep my Lizardmen have been in like, are kind of in a constant whip stage, or like work in progress stage of being transitioned over to round bases for, you know, whether that's Age of Sigmar or the one-page rules equivalent of Age of Sigmar. And then I have a small Empire army that I'm keeping on the square bases, you know, to play either Warhammer Fantasy or the one-page rules equivalent of Warhammer Fantasy. Oh yeah, and for Kill Team, the Kill Teams that I have a Drukari Kill Team and an Adeptus Mechanicus Kill Team. I have some Warhammer Underworlds warbands as well. I've got 2, the Stormcast ones and the Lizardman one, or Seraphon I should say. I have the Lizardman Blood Bowl team as well. Don't really play, yeah, I don't really play, or the only games I've played recently are, I guess, it depends on whether D&D counts for you, but D&D, Conquest, Last Argument of Kings, and Gamma Wolves. I am trying to line up some War Machine and Hordes games soon as well. I have no idea how Mark IV War Machine is going to be received in my area, so who knows, maybe this time next year I could be, you know, getting games of Mark IV War Machine in every week, having a good time, or it could be just playing War Machine Mark III forever, which is probably fine because they wrapped it up in a pretty polished state, I think. Yeah, there's plenty of Gundams out there with missile pod shoulders. Could say it's a mecha trope, perhaps. And I think missile pods in the shoulders are cool, so I got no problems with that being a trope. Sometimes, you know, it just kind of makes sense to put missiles there. Yeah, Last Argument of Kings, Conquest, same. The game's full name is Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings. I think most people just call it Conquest, though. So that's probably what I should just refer to it as. Yeah, that's always the make or break point with any game, is like whether people in your area can play it, and a lot of time that's just down to like a person being dedicated enough to like volunteer their time to just like be the community organizer for, you know, whatever game they're willing to put in the time for. Yeah, the Retribution of Syra designs are pretty good. I remember like when I first became aware of that faction, I was kind of meh on it, but then when I saw the minis for them in person, I was like, okay, I get it. These jacks are pretty cool. A Buster Gundam Kitbash and gave it a shield and a machine gun and knives. Heavy Arms would be proud. Yeah, I'm just adding a little bit of a line there. I think that's all we need. Hello, Riot. The latest kit announcements. I mean, the Zeta Verka was pretty like unsurprising as the next Verka to be announced. I don't think that's exactly a hot take. I don't think I'll get it personally, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing all these Gunpla stop motion animators I like doing videos with that kit when it comes out, because, you know, they obviously put a ton of effort into making the transformation for that one really sleek, so I feel like that's just bait for all the stop motion animators to make incredible videos, you know. The Master Grade SD looks like pretty cool, actually. I don't know if I'll get it, but like It looks pretty sleek. More sleek than I thought it was going to be before they announced it. The new Witch from Mercury kits that are coming out look pretty cool. Definitely pick up some of those. Yeah, the Syra faction has a pretty unique look. It's a pretty unique take on like fantasy elves. It's like not what people would initially think the elf faction would look like in a steampunk game. In a different timeline, I can see myself picking up them as an army instead of Signar, Mercs, or Scorn. I've definitely played against them a lot. Yeah, Eldar, that's probably the closest Warhammer equivalent to Syra. In another timeline, I can see myself being an Eldar player. I think a lot of their models are pretty cool. And I think the Aspect Warriors are pretty cool as well. I think we need to add another drop of black to the palette. I guess there would be a Discord server dedicated entirely to the Ildari. Although I guess it's in a different timeline, it's more likely that if I was like a full 40k player, it'd be more likely I'd be a Drukari player. I like the edgier Eldar. What can I say? Getting a bit of contamination on the sponge there. I'd have to take care of that after the stream. I remember being at a charity tournament once. It was like they had a War Machine tournament going on and a Warhammer 40k tournament. And I remember we finished up the first round of the War Machine tournament. And we're checking out what was going on at the 40k tables. This was like back in the days when there's kind of like a silly rivalry between the War Machine and Hordes players and the Warhammer players, because that was back when people saw Privateer Press as like having a chance to surpass Games Workshop eventually, because that was like during Games Workshop's blunder years. And there was one game of 40k at this tournament where one player was Tyranids and then the other player was Eldar. And they had a bunch of Forge World models. And the Eldar player had like a very, very long first turn where they pretty much shot the entire Tyranid army off the table before They even hit turn 2. It was quite a sight to behold. I'm sure some of you in chat are aware of that infamous photo of the guy at the 40k tournament who like his army is all, I think his army is all Kroot or something, and he like abused the like vanguard or like scout deployment rules to deploy his like Kroot in like one long single file line all the way across his opponent's table edge or something like that, and then it prevented his opponent from being able to deploy any of his models at all because like there's too many enemies in close proximity, so he just auto lost the game. I'm probably misquoting this story horribly, so someone feel free to correct me, but there's plenty of stories out there about janky rules interactions that let you cheese wins like that. I'm sure War Machine and Hordes has plenty of stories like that as well. I mean, I remember going up against and playing some pretty broken stuff myself in Mark II War Machine when I started playing. As much as people hate on Mark III, I would much rather play the more balanced Mark III than go back to Mark II. This second grade that I've been painting is a little too dark. It's hopefully not going to be a problem. Year of 40k blunders like it ended. Yeah, good point, good point. This going in the book. Dark elves, I mean, yeah, they're pretty hot, I guess, depending on which model you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I'm all down for those, for Kroot victories. I think Kroot are cool. I'm generally a pro Kroot person. Fiverr, if you're still watching, are you pro Kroot or anti Kroot? And I'm pretty sure your Tau army doesn't have any Kroot in it. Yeah, I guess bringing up 40k blunders, I guess we're still pretty fresh on the whole Leagues of Votann thing happening. Did anyone else watch that Ash Barker video where he was like, companies, stop apologizing and trying to fix broken stuff, just release broken stuff and we'll deal with it. I agreed with what most of the stuff he said in that video. I think my opinion lies somewhere more in the middle. It's like, yeah, the company shouldn't like have, the priority shouldn't be to like make the perfectly balanced game, because then it just gets too hyper competitive. But at the same time, if something's like absurdly broken, I'm all for patching that, you know, like you would with a video game. You're anti-Kroot? Okay. Oh yes, I'm familiar with your Nurgle hate. I'm right there with you. I think the Kroots are a good design, but I agree that they don't like... I don't think they fit well with Tau, necessarily. also be cool if the Kroot were just like their own 40k army, I guess. If I had to pick between like a Tau army and a Kroot army though, I'd pick the Tau. Basically Kirby, yep. Zinch is cool, but I'm more of a Slaanesh fanboy myself. Slaanesh was who I beat the Total War Warhammer 3 campaign with. Got a stray fiber on the brush there. Would an army of entirely Necron Scarabs be able to, like... Is that like a feasible... Or it's probably not a feasible army you can play. But, you know, now that you've said it, I want to see it on the table. Okay, there might be some areas here I want to go back with the pure black on later, but for now we'll move on to the other arm. She Who Thirsts. I think Slaanesh is non-binary technically, but I don't actually know. I don't know what the canon is. I guess Slaanesh is called the Prince of Excess, but everything in Slaanesh is kind of like gender fluid. Yeah, Noise Marines are a pretty iconic look. Okay, let's just refill the palette a bit before I move on to these arms properly. Army of Flashlight Boys. What's the who are the Flashlight Boys? Oh, you've got the iconic boob snake. Hello, Shrekus McChekus. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, the Noise Marines, I'm assuming they haven't been updated in a while because they're just not as popular as the other ones. Oh, I see what you did there, Box Fox. Yeah, Fiverr. I wonder if there is like an official canon answer to that. I know in the Total War Warhammer, the like Slaanesh demon models, it's kind of weird how like consistently, I think each one of them has like a left tit, and then the right is a pectoral, you know, just a pec. It's weird how it's the same side on every single one as far as I could tell. Maybe that was just them hastily finishing up the 3D models and they'll patch that sometime. Okay, hopefully that's gray. I think we need a little more black actually. Oh, the Imperial Guard, okay, gotcha. Or Imperial Marines. I'm not sure if you made Imperial Guard or a certain Space Marine chapter there. 2030. That's a long way to wait for those Noise Marines. You put a second boob on all your demonettes. Interesting. Okay, so the Slaanesh are supposed to be half and half like that. Okay, so you did mean guardsman. I've heard one of the... Yes, you know, this black is a little too dark. Or this gray. Let's see what it looks like when I put it on. I've heard the Slaanesh Seeker Chariot is one of the worst Warhammer models to assemble currently. A little disappointed in the quality of these brushes I got because they're new and like already seeing some curling on the tip, but you know, that's synthetics for you. Your demonettes, your way. Hello, Danish. Thanks for coming. Trying to think if there's like any, you know, Zinch, Nurgle, or Khorne equivalent of the variation in the models. Not that I can think of Khorne, it's just like, you know, how many skulls are on it? Nurgle, it's like, how gross is it? Zinch, I can't think of what it is for Zinch. It's like fairly consistent, and it's like different weird creatures like the Screamers and Flamers of Slaanesh. Those are pretty weird designs, but you know, fitting for Zinch. The Screamers are just like flying manta rays with sharp teeth that just come chomp on you. I don't even know how I would describe what a Flamer of Zinch is. It's just like a fleshy flamethrower. I don't know how it... Yeah, I mean, is it... You could say that was Slaanesh, but they're all like... Well, I guess not all. Most of them are pretty kinky. They're also elegant, like the Keeper of Secrets. An elegant creature. I mean, how else would you describe a Flamer of Zinch OP Hawk? I know it sounds cursed when you say it that way, but I mean, it is a demon. Maybe Slaanesh, or with Zinch, it's more like, is it bird-like or is it goat-like? But even then, that only describes like a few specific things that they have. Yeah, you got nothing. Yeah, that's where we're at. So far, the best description we have is fleshy flamethrower. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hold up well with frequent handling. That's the main downside of acrylic. So it depends on like how much you're planning on posing around your Gunpla or moving it. You know, it's like one of the reasons why I partially glue stuff in place when I'm going like full model Mayhem style. I usually put on 2 coats of varnish as well. Yeah, that's one way to look at it, Box Fox. Fire Barf Ghost. That one's good too. Let's just compare these grays. Okay, they're pretty close. Close enough. Bioorganic flamethrower. Oh, sorry, Box Fox. I just saw that message you sent earlier. I had to approve it there because it had a curse in it, but I approve of the message, so there you go. Home Depot Krylon. Haven't used that myself. I've had too many like bad experiences using rattle can varnish, so I tend to only use it for low risk projects or like low stakes projects, I guess. Like I'll airbrush on some thinned varnish for this Sazabi when it's done. But if I'm just, you know, doing a bunch of infantry miniatures I batch painted, I'm okay with using rattle can. Oops. Messed that up with my thumb a bit there. The devil's work. I know most of the time it's fine if you like properly warm up the can and shake it really well beforehand and don't apply it too thick. Hey, at least I got a good joke out of it that one time with my Sengoku ashtray video. Sorry, I mean Sengoku ashtray. All the way back in January 2021. Glad you've seen the ashtray video, OP Hawk. That was one of my early videos where I felt like I was starting to find my style a bit more. More so with like the style of video, not the style of painting. That was like a few projects before I started doing the whole Model Mayhem hand painting thing. Yeah, I know what you mean, Kalinas. I don't mind doing like using my lacquer paints every once in a while, but yeah, having to worry about the fumes and all the different solvents, it's a lot. Part's done. Yeah, you gotta look out for those dogs and moms. Alright, thanks for coming by, OP Hawk. See you next time. Thanks for the support. Sorry, I don't know how many times I've shown you all the top of my head tonight, but... Yep. That's the spirit, Kalinas. You'll never know until you try. Usually it's doable to just pick up a cheap, low-stakes model to try out paint on. So it's not a big deal if it doesn't go the way you want it. I mean, in terms of like painting Gunpla efficiently, acrylics might not be the most optimal choice, but it depends on what you're trying to do. And you know, what's available and feasible for you. In terms of ease of use, though, I think it's, you could probably say acrylics are the easiest to work with. Yeah, well, if you're planning on airbrushing, I guess you gotta worry about getting the airbrush first. Yeah, now this part, this is where the gray I'm painting is like... Okay, it was just on this side, it's looking too dark. I'm gonna have to redo those sections. Hello, Gunpla Modify. Thanks for coming. I need to rejig the paint that's on the palette a bit here. Might have to give the palette sponge a bit of a rinse after this as well. And for those of you wondering, when I'm done painting the blacks and move on to the next stage of the painting, that's when I'm gonna start actually wearing gloves. I'm just avoiding the sweaty hand syndrome for now. Opting for comfort and just, you know, letting some of my dirty hand oils get onto the mini in these early stages. That wasn't quite the clean line I wanted there. Gunpla Modify. This is painted in the same style as the ones I've done for that mech game, but it's a commission, so no, it's not for that game, which is called Gamma Wolves, but the person who's commissioning it could certainly use it for Gamma Wolves if they wanted to. The base is a little bigger than the ones I use for my heavy frames, but it's the kind of game where you can bend the rules to suit your needs like that. So yeah, painted in the same style as the other ones I've done for the game, but not for the game. Okay, this gray doesn't look so much different that it's out of place. Sorry, I'm not as talkative in this stream, people. I ate too much pizza before the stream, and my energy levels aren't as high. It's also just been one of those weeks, you know? But the main thing I'm focusing on now that the Gundam artifact video is out is this Sazabi project. So this is my second stream for it this week, and I'll probably be also bringing you a double stream next week. And hoping I can finish the project within the next 2 weeks. We'll see, of course. Yeah, you can see the grays on these two. It's like this one's way darker. Which, yeah, it's only kind of on this section though, so I just gonna have to quickly brighten this up a bit before I move on to the next step. We don't have to be like 100% consistent, but we need a bit more consistency than what we got so far. Yeah, it should be fine. Double stream weeks, that's right. I'm glad some of you appreciate that, because I know some people would rather have more like videos, but I put in too much effort into my videos. It takes too long for them to come out sometimes. It works out well for this Sazabi, because in terms of like painting techniques, I'm not really doing anything new that I haven't already shown off in a video, so I don't like... My desire to make like a main channel video for the Sazabi project wasn't that high, because I don't know what I would talk about other than, like, I could talk about the specifics of the project itself with the, you know, color choices and all that, but there wouldn't be any like new painting techniques for me to talk about, and I just wasn't interested in making a video like that, I guess. And also when I kind of like accepted the commission and always had the mindset of like, yes, this will be a project I work on just as a commission, and I'll stream it sometimes while I'm working on my other videos, because, you know, at that time I was committed to making the battle report, which I knew would be a whole thing, which it was. Okay, so I think we can still keep using the size 3 brush for the next bit, but now I have to more consciously be aware of like the angle that this is sitting, so it's being hanging down this way, so I gotta keep that in mind when I'm choosing where the highlights are gonna go. And hopefully this shade of gray I mixed is appropriate. And I'm no longer hitting every single edge. Yeah, and even like this part here, it doesn't like, a lot of it's, or like a decent amount of it's gonna be covered up by the shoulder pad piece, so I don't need to do too much really. So like I'm just kind of doing these bottom edges there, as you can see. And also got a nice little fiber sticking out from the end of the brush there, so that's cool. Like, I could do it along this top edge here, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be completely covered by the shoulder pad, so I'm just going to leave it. And now that I said that, I feel compelled to just quickly watch the 360 video I have of it just to confirm. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll just unlock my phone. Make sure I don't accidentally show you something embarrassing. I don't know what that would even qualify as. Where did I put that 360 video? No, those are the artifact ones. Okay, I guess we're going to Instagram. There we go. The wobbly 360. Okay. Oh yeah, so I was right. That area is mostly covered up. So I don't need to highlight that area I was worried about. So we'll move on to the next bit. Whoops, box fox. Hello, White Wolf. Thanks for coming. So like for this section here, I'm doing the top edges, but like I'm not doing the bottom edge. So I'll just briefly explain my rationale. Just do a little dot there. This bottom section is pretty like obscured from the theoretical light, so I think I'll just leave it. Maybe I could just do like maybe a couple just a wee bit of edging right there. And I'm gonna do an edge here just to kind of hide the mistake from earlier. It's one of those areas that's like not even going to be noticed by most people, so I really shouldn't spend too much time on it. All right. New paints, very exciting. What's the new paints you got? And yeah, so this arm will be sitting, you know, if like the head's and body is here, this will be sitting in that an angle like this most of the time, so like this side of the forearm will get more highlights than this side. Like for this, I'm probably just gonna do a bit of the curve here and that's it. And I guess we could have a little bit corner there as well. Yeah. Dang dust, just leave me and my models alone. Yeah, like these edge highlights down here, I don't think I'm gonna touch them anymore, because yeah, I mean, maybe like a tiny bit here on the one side, but other than that, I don't like see it catching much light. Theoretical light, that is. Gamblin's Torrid Gray in their reclaimed color set. A gray with purple-ish blue hues, that sounds nice. I'm a fan of grays like that. Yeah, so just look at the difference that one basic bit of edge highlighting does there. Oh, an hour 45 minutes, not bad. I imagine this stream will be similar in length to the last one. Somewhere between 2.5 to 3 hours. What section was I on? Right, to the front part. Yeah, and then I'll stop here on this side because this is the side they'll be facing down. Yeah, Pro Acryl, that's one I'm gonna try eventually. Maybe someday I'll be on a road trip in the States and I'll see a store that actually has it. Yeah, the paint I'm usually, or the Gunpla paint I usually see people complain about not being able to get in the US is Gaia Notes. G paint isn't too hard to get in North America. I don't know about Moto. I mean, like, you know, me and White Wolf are in Canada, so for us it's like less likely. And if you're in the States, I guess it depends where in the States you are. And how long you're willing to wait. Alright, now we'll get onto the Kitbash section, which has far more edges. Oh, Tammy, I missed her hobby. Good to know, White Wolf. Yeah, Tammy, I missed her hobby. I think there's definitely lots of stores in my area that will carry those. I think it's more like keeping stock on them is hard. I think it's more like the stores, from what, in my experience, the stores, it's like, if you're looking for popular products, like, you know, the Tamiya black panel liner enamel, that's like out of stock a lot because it's a popular product, but yeah. Got a little fiber on the brush there again. The good old struggle of living in a rural area and trying to get niche hobby supplies. Ooh, good job, me. That was a straight line there. Or a straight enough line. Yeah, I keep getting little dust fibers stuck to the end of the brush. That's fun. Dang, 6. I've only got 3 colors. Yeah, Gunpla markers, that's something I haven't used that much of. I mean, having all those different colors of panel liner lined up together must be a satisfying feeling. And to just know that you have the obscure colors at your disposal should you need to panel line something that won't suffice with just a basic black or gray. Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the Panini in 2020, there was lots of people complaining about Tamiya plastic cement shortages. As there were, you know, shortages of many things back then. As the world collectively was like, oh, gotta lock down, better stock up on hobby supplies. Yes, I'm kind of doing the same edge highlight on the bottom part of this arm. but like I'm not gonna do this part, and I'm only gonna do the brighter highlights on this side because the arm's gonna be sitting like this, and you know, the underside just wouldn't get as much light. Yeah, and then so for the details at the back, I think I'm just gonna do a little bit at this spot. Yeah, but then over here we'll be doing plenty more. Alright, I think that's that round of edge highlighting done on this arm. Onto the other arm. Mass Effect vibes. I try to create a nice vibe with the music that is also a decent mix of vibes. There may be a link in the description from where I get there should be a link for the music. I don't know if it has the referral link. I use this service called Artlist. They've got some real bops. I think Otaku Builder uses the same music actually, or like the same service. Now this arm is on the other side, so the light's mostly be, sorry, can't block the camera. It's gonna be coming down like this. Hard to demonstrate from this angle. But you know, same thought process as the other arm. I do enjoy this kind of edge highlighting painting, but doing it with black and grays, not gonna lie, it's not as fun as doing it with, like, you know, a blue or purple green. That's also why I'm getting the black done first, so I can get it over with and move on to the purple. Yeah, and for this back elbow section, I'm only this top part's getting the edge highlight. This arm does have a little bit of bend to it for just a bit of posing, but even then, I think it's safe to say the bottom bit there can just stay with its one round of edge highlight. There's that fiber again. Where's that coming from? Is anyone here familiar with the mobile suit from Zeta? It's called the O. Blue Parappa is building the model kit of that right now, I believe. I'm looking forward to seeing it after, because it's like a big chunky yellow mech. It's pretty fun. Thanks for the help there, White Wolf. This is the edge that's gonna be more in shadow, so we'll just give it a little bit of an edge. And then more so on this side. Yeah, this curve could get a bit of an edge as well. And just a little bit on this side. If it's the same size of a Psycho Gundam, that would be pretty big. Oh, we're past the 2-hour mark. Well, definitely 100% gonna finish the edge highlighting on these two arm pieces. We'll see where we're at there. Or we'll see where my energy levels are at there. Clearly, this is not. I'm not at the top of my talking game on this stream. At least I'm keeping up the painting game. I feel like I am, anyways. Okay. Sounds like some classic complicated anime rights management there. Yeah, I haven't seen Zeta or Double Zeta yet. Just the original series. Well, let's see if I can remember all the good things. I've seen the original series, Char's Counterattack, the 8th MS Team, Iron-Blooded Orphans, Thunderbolt. I've only seen the prologue for Witch from Mercury so far. I've seen a bit of Double Zero, Double O. I think that's it. Oh, I've seen like 30 episodes of Gundam Wing. Oh, and G Gundam. Can't forget G Gundam. I've seen all that. Saw the new Doan's Island movie. I think that covers all the Gundam shows I've seen. Oh, and a Hathaway's Flash. Seen that movie. Messed up that edge highlight a bit. Kind of running out of paint on the palette, but I don't think I'll have to refill it yet until I get to the next stage. Oh, I've seen Unicorn Gundam. Clearly I wasn't into that one if I didn't remember it until now. Unicorn Gundam was decent. Or Gundam Unicorn, I guess. I liked Iron-Blooded Orphans much better, though. And in terms of other mecha anime I've watched, you know, I got the good old Gurren Lagann, Code Geass, Full Metal Panic. Yeah, was Kirk's the guy from Sleeves in Gundam Unicorn? Who kind of looks like Rambarel? Probably the part I enjoyed the most about Unicorn was just the mechanical designs were really good throughout. Lots of banger mobile suits in that one. Even if the Unicorn is a little overhyped, it's still a good design. And of course the Banshee and the Shinanju is great. Kshatriya is great. And like the cockpit, the animation of like the cockpits themselves is pretty good. But I'm glad they're like doing more 2D animation for Witch from Mercury instead of just continuing that Unicorn style. Specifically for the Zaku 1 sniper. Yeah, that's an intimidating project for sure. Yeah, Zaku 1 Sniper is a fan favorite, I guess. There's some solid Zaku action in the Doan's Island movie that, I mean, it came out a while ago in Japan, but came out recently in North America. Any Zoids? A long time ago I did. Yeah, that sounds like a real challenge, White Wolf, but like a very rewarding, skill increasing challenge. Alright, almost done this round. I have a couple Gunpla kits that are like, have some Zoid-like energy. It's more likely you'll see me do one of those before I do a Zoid. Zoids are a little expensive. There's one person asking me, or like inquiring about a commission for a Zoid kit a while ago, but didn't quite go through, which is fine. Resin definitely has a lot of problems. I got the one of the Gen Con sample kits for Mark IV War Machine in the mail. Speaking of resin, it's like 3D printed resin, and had to email them to send me some replacement parts because they're still kind of working out the kinks of their resin mix, and it was a little brittle, so I had some broken parts, and then I also had another part that in like the very recesses of the sculpt, the resin was not like fully cured. So that's obviously a problem. But they responded to my email asking for the replacement parts very quickly, at least. So yeah, resin, it's just tough to work with in many different ways. Alright, and this is the bottom side, so it doesn't need as much. I think the Forge World resin kits are like, from what I've heard and what I've seen in person, it's like not great in terms of like the amount of work, prep work you have to do, comparing like the Forge World resin kits. The like Gundam resin conversion kits look easier to work with. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the two because one is like an add-on and one is a complete model, but yeah, the resin model, I only have 2 resin models from Parabellum War Games, but they're decent so far. And like in the past, I've gotten resin models from Privateer Press that are fine. I think it's more like the new 3D printed resin, like UV resin, I guess they've been working with. They're still like going through some growing pains with. Okay, for the next round of edge highlight, we just use the pure medium sea gray. But yeah, the amount of extra work you have to do with a Forge World resin is not fair considering the price you gotta pay for it. That's the reputation Forge World has in my circles anyways. And now we'll be switching to the size 1 brush. Should mix this paint with the thinner a bit first. Yeah, Games Workshop has done some damage to the reputation of resin in general, which is too bad. Both with Forge World and Finecast. Yeah, so for this round of highlighting is gonna go pretty fast because like this area here, it's like not even. Well, let's watch that 360 video again just to see. Yeah, it's not like, I mean, I guess like some of the very, very corners I could do. Yeah, that wouldn't hurt. So like just here. Won't do the other side, obviously. So we'll just do a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. And the same on the adjacent piece. And that's it. And like for this spot here, that's the main part. Guess we could do like, you know, this. But on the other side, yeah, I think the other side, like, we'll just do this part. Maybe just a teeny little bit there. Yeah, the good old GW pricing, Gunpla pricing comparison. 5, are you still here? It's our favorite subject. I think at this point, that's what we just call getting plop-hilled. Yeah, this corner here, definitely getting a good old bright edge. And we might as well go all the way to the other corner here. Down a bit, and then just a little bit onto the next edge. Okay, and on the other side, a bit less. Yeah, man, the big like centerpiece Games Workshop models, it makes a bit more sense to pay the big bucks for those with all the like intense details they've got in the sculpts there. Yeah, there are definitely some Games Workshop apologists out there. Which, you know, is fine. I'm an apologist for the movie Prometheus, so... Seven-inch tall demon rat, put that at the top of your Christmas tree. And for this cuff area, I'm just doing... this curve. And then this curve. I guess this part we can go all the way down there on this side, because that's the side that'll catch the most light. And keep it going onto this next section. Alright, looking good. They won't buy you this shit, Sinanju. Psychobabble has emerged for a boo Games Workshop. I think we need to do a little bit of the edge on this cuff. But like just to the part close to the hand, not this part. Yeah, I think that's as far as I need to go there. Alright, we'll do that. Just this few small areas on the bottom side. Not sure. Don't need much else. Maybe just like a little here. A little bit here. Yeah, that's probably good for the bottom side. Okay, let's just do one more little, just one quick little. Okay, now the top side. Yeah, it's the small like character models. It's like just a dude and like a knight-sized dude, but he's $40. Yeah, that Carnosaur model is pretty good value actually, because it's more than just like some alternate heads. I have that Carnosaur kit, got it years ago, and I was able to salvage like an extra Scar Veteran and Skink Hero out of it with like just a little bit of kit bashing and like putty work. And I've seen like a detailed guide online on like how to get the most value out of that kit, and you can get pretty creative and get some really good value out of it. And like the Games Workshop Start Collecting boxes are really good for that too. Although I guess those are changing into something new called Vanguard or something. Gunpla Jesus at it again. It's either Gunpla Jesus or Gunpla Jared Leto. Yeah, hopefully I'm not going swinging too hard on the other side with the amount of highlights. Gotta make sure I'm not going overboard. Yeah, so far I think I'm good. Let's do a bit there. I guess I did kind of miss working on this little black section attached to the green, but painting the green is gonna get messy enough. I would probably make a mistake and have to go back and tidy that area up anyways, so it's probably fine to just leave as is for now. Okay, that's probably good for this piece, if I had to take a gander. If you just compare these, it's just one round of like really basic, just a tiny bit of edge highlighting. You can see how much of a difference it makes there. All right, well, we're at 2.5 hours, so I'm going to finish off this piece and then call it a night in terms of painting. But that's still gonna be like, I don't know how long it took me to do that round on the other piece. 20 minutes, maybe 30, probably closer to 20. Yeah, you can charge, like, you can upsell the prices for, like, the accessory sprues. That's, like, you aren't gonna sell a lot of them, but, like, some people will, like, want that stuff specifically and will pay the price for it. Yeah, they got 40, like, having a character with cool lore is great and awesome and highly encourage that, but shouldn't inflate the price. Alright, I probably started on the wrong side with, I mean, that's not really gonna be visible, but I shouldn't have highlighted that side. It's this side I should have highlighted. I wasn't paying enough attention. So that's like a little bonus edge highlight that won't ever be seen by anyone. You know, when it's finished. Right, okay. Gotta remember the orientation. This is the right arm. I'm doing a bit on this side. We can highlight a bit more of this part of the elbow on this arm since it's extended a bit more. Can't go too overboard though. Almost too big of a line there. Same with that one. You can tell I'm reaching the end of my painting stamina. Okay, just a bit. It's good though, these streams have helped me get a lot of painting done on this Sazabi. So maybe I will get it done in time for my self-imposed deadline. Interested to see when I add up the hours I've been tracking at the end of this project to see whether it took longer or shorter than the Buster Gundam project, because the Buster Gundam's the longest so far, I think. That one was like at around 100 hours. I've been writing down the hours for the Sazabi, but I haven't added them up yet, so I don't know what I'm at currently. But I can assure you it is a hefty amount of hours already. I mean, you're blowing a gasket about GW pricing isn't random and disproportionate. I think it's a grievance a lot of people have because the pricing can be a little unfair sometimes. But, you know, you shouldn't let it stop you from enjoying the hobby, which it looks like you're doing, so good for you. Complaining about GW's prices is like part of the hobby, arguably. One could say. Okay. regularly repriced their backlog and did more sales. Yeah, Games Workshop hardly ever does stuff like that from what I know. When you're the top dog, you don't have to do promotions like that. If you're looking for good sales or maybe not sales, but good deals, the starter sets for Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings, you get a good amount of minis for your $1 with those. Well, let me tell you, there's even a discount code in the description. No pressure though. Obviously, it's a lot different than Games Workshop games, so totally fine if it's not your thing. Yeah, I guess Bandai doesn't have like the same kind of deal as Games Workshop having like, you know, their own store. It makes sense for Games Workshop, I guess, because it's all about like the game as well as the models, and then you gotta have the store to like run games in. I feel like I got maybe 10 minutes of painting left, so if anyone has any burning questions or super chats they want to get out there, or just any message in general, now's your chance. I feel the strain in my elbows. I've even got padding on my desk to help with that. Alright, just gotta do the underside now. Yeah, I know what Gundam you're talking about. It's called, there's a couple different ones. I think one of them's called Try Burning Gundam. Alright, see ya, Kalinas. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I almost bought that Try Burning Gundam once. It's a pretty cool looking one. You know, anything vaguely adjacent to the God Gundam just has residual coolness added. And that might just be it. Let's take a look at these side by side. Sure, there's still some paint on the brush there. It's a problem when I load the brush up with too much paint and then paint for too long before rinsing it out again. Alright, I'll probably wash these properly off after the stream. Palette's gonna need a little bit of maintenance as well. Don't want the paint to dry up too clumpy on here. Alright, just gonna be wrapping up the stream shortly here. So I'll give you all another minute or so to get some messages in. But in the meantime, thanks to everyone for coming to the stream as always. Currently planning on doing at least 2 more streams next week because, you know, I'm all about working on this Sazabi right now, so we're doing double feature stream weeks. And we'll have to see just how long the purple takes. Maybe there'll be 4 more streams, maybe just 2 more. I think I'll be finishing the rest of the black off stream though. I think there's been plenty of me edge highlighting black and gray content for now. And here they are, side by side. I think that's looking pretty good myself. Yeah, I like all of my model Mayhem projects. Like, you look at it up close, it looks messy and there's brush strokes, but then you look at it at the actual distance that you'll be looking at it, and it looks like a kind of cool 3D, 2D animation still. That's kind of how I imagine it sometimes. Alright, well, thanks again for coming to the stream, everybody. I'm going to end the stream now. And follow my social media for finding out when the next stream's gonna be. Bye-bye.